It's the final countdown. Guys, this is it. We are here. The wait is over. Because in less than 24 hours, we're finally going to get the reveal. We are finally going to get a glimpse. We are finally going to see what Nintendo have been cooking up in the kitchen. Yes, the Switch 2 reveal is finally here. Are you ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Hello! You're watching NNN on New Nintendo News. This is a gaming show where we keep you up to date with the latest Nintendo related gaming news. Related gaming news. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry, I'm too excited. There's only 24 hours left. 24 hours. Now I want to have a quick run. I do want to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 because it's coming tomorrow. So I want to have a very quick rundown of some of the rumours, but we're not digging into them. I'm not clicking the links on these articles to read the news. Not all of them anyway, because some of them I feel like are just going into spoiler territory. So before the Nintendo Switch 2 gets revealed tomorrow, let's have a look at the latest rumours and let's just have one more last speculation time. Because after that, we're not going to get another console for the next 10 years. So let's rinse it while it's here. So the latest rumours come from someone called Inside the Gaming. Never heard of this gaming publication before, but everybody's copying the news from this website, so I'm just going to deliver it too. Okay, so Inside the Gaming basically said at GDC this year in San Francisco, everybody was talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and they mentioned that it would be launching in June. They also mentioned that third-party developers would be receiving dev kits in June, which kind of lends a bit more weight to this rumor. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I can't contain the excitement. I'm sorry. Third-party video game developers will be receiving dev kits in June. However, I'm pretty sure that the big video game publishers, surely you must already have dev kits. I swear down, if Capcom, EA, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Konami do not already, Square, if those 6 publishers do not already have Nintendo Switch 2 dev kits, I'm going to be fuming because we need the games. However, the rumour goes deeper, it goes deeper and deeper. And the reason why they're saying third-party developers are going to get their dev kits in June is because supposedly Nintendo are going to adopt a 3-phase plan for the launch of the Nintendo Switch. Listen to this. So basically, Inside the Gaming is stating that Nintendo are going to launch their console, and for phase 1, they are only going to release first-party Nintendo games. It says the second stage will arrive in October to November for third-party studios. So that's when we're going to get the third-party games. And then the third phase is going to be around the Christmas holiday period, and they're saying that consists of first-party and third-party games all being released together. Now, this sounds weird. Why would Nintendo release a console and for the first 2 months not have any third-party games on it? Now, I know Nintendo first-party games are strong and that people buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games, but that just seems so weird to me. What's the reason for this? I don't get it. We all know that the Nintendo Switch 2 is backwards compatible, but what I really want to know is when I get my Switch 1 cartridge and pull it in my Switch 2, are you going to give me a little upgrade? Do you know what I mean? Are you going to upgrade my things? Are you going to make the game more beefier? Are you going to improve the frame rate? Are you going to upscale the resolution? I need to know these things. I need to know. I want to know. Well, it looks like we have a bit more information as to whether the Nintendo Switch 2 will actually give Nintendo Switch 1 games a little visual, graphical performance boost. Reading an article on IGN, it says Xenoblade Chronicles X appears to have a hidden 60 frames per second mode, sparking Nintendo Switch 2 speculation. There was a modder on Twitter called Masagrator. He dug into the executable of oh my god. Too many X's. There's too many X's. Modder Masagrator dug into the executable of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition and found what they called a hidden 60 frames per second mode. The modder said that it seems to be implemented only partially since enabling it causes weird issues. Now, if they've got 60 frames per second running on this game, but the Switch can't handle it, the only thing left to think is that when you put the game on the Switch 2, 60 frames per second is unlocked. So yeah, that's it really. It looks like Switch 2 will potentially give Switch 1 games a performance graphics boost, which is great because I will now buy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I stayed away from those games because they're glitchy as hell, choppy as hell, and I just didn't want to play them. So that's a good sign. That's good. That's a step in the right direction. Well done, Nintendo. Well, we don't know if it's true, but we'll find out tomorrow. The next thing that we'll talk about is that damn USB-C port. The Nintendo Switch 2 console has 2 USB-C ports, one at the top, one at the bottom. Why? I only need one USB-C port on my console, Nintendo. I just need to charge it and that's it. So what's this other port for? I'm intrigued. What does it do? Nintendo's gonna pull some out of the bag, some crazy attachment, and whack it on the top, and it's gonna give us a new gameplay experience. Some new gameplay gimmick. I don't know what it's gonna do. I don't know. Otherwise, what's it for? Well, it might not actually be that deep because people have found a patent for the Nintendo Switch 2 and it looks like the Nintendo Switch 2 has the ability to be played upside down. Now, why would I want to play my console upside down? I have no idea, and it could be that. It could just be that if you want to play your console upside down, maybe you might be left-handed, right-handed, you prefer the Joy-Cons on a different side, you can just turn it upside down and play it in a more comfortable way. It seems very unnecessary though. It seems unnecessary to add an extra USB-C port just so you can play your console upside down, so left-handed gamers can be more comfortable. Don't think it's that. I don't think the extra USB-C port is so you can play it upside down. Nintendo's gonna give us something to stick in it. And the last thing that we'll talk about, and this will be the biggest surprise, and this is what I'm not clicking this article. There's an article right in front of me. I'm not clicking it. I'm not clicking it, I'm not reading it. But since the Nintendo Switch 2 was first announced or leaked or revealed, we have known that there is a mysterious button on the right Joy-Con. This mysterious button is known as the C button. Nobody knows what it does. Nobody knows why it's there. Only Nintendo does. People have been speculating what this C button does. People thought it meant capture, to take pictures, but we all know that it's not going to be a capture button. This C button is the last mystery of the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, there is a rumour. There's a rumour. I'm not clicking the article, but I've seen the headline and I'm fuming. People are saying, close your ears if you don't want to hear this spoiler. I don't think it's true anyway. But the headline on this article right in front of me says that the C button on the Joy-Con for the Nintendo Switch 2 turns your Switch into a Wii U. Now, I don't even know how that's possible, and I'm not clicking the article because I don't want to find no more information, but that's all it can say. It says the C button turns your Switch into a Wii U. The only thing that I can think that they are saying is that it's that asymmetric kind of style gameplay. Pass games from your Switch to your TV. I don't think you press the C button and the Switch cast to your TV wirelessly, because that's pointless. What I genuinely think the C button is, I think it stands for community. I think the C button stands for community. And when you press that C button, it takes you into an online space. It takes you into like a virtual hangout area. Something along the lines of PlayStation Home. Do you remember PlayStation Home on the PlayStation 3? Where you could like get an avatar and then you had a house and you could design it, and then the whole point was it was like so many social hub where you could go and speak to your friends and you could go and there was loads of stuff that you could do. I can't remember because it was years ago. But I think it's going to be something like that. You press this button and it's kind of like the Miiverse Plaza. It's kind of like Miiverse where people can hang out, chat, socialize. I think it's going to be that. Remember how Nintendo did a Nintendo Switch Online playtest last year for some kind of MMO kind of gameplay structure, and people were working together to make structures. It was kind of like a Minecraft game, and nobody actually knows what it is or what it did. But I think that is what the C button is. I think you press the C button, and that Nintendo Switch Online playtest that people were experimenting with last year, we get taken into this kind of world. It's a social community hub. There's things to do in there. It's classic Nintendo, weird as hell. I think it's going to be that. That's what the C button is. But we'll find out in 24 hours! We'll find out in 24 hours! So yes, that's all I've got to talk about today. I just wanted to do a video because we are 24 hours away from the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, and I just thought, why not? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I used to be scared. I used to be worried about the future of the Nintendo Switch 2. The console's main gimmick, unique selling point, isn't really as unique as it was back in 2016. You know, Nintendo have a lot of competition now in the handheld gaming space. You've got PC handheld gaming, you've got the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, you've got loads of options. On top of that, Microsoft are also releasing their handheld Xbox supposedly this year, and we all know that Sony PlayStation is also looking to get into the handheld gaming space again. And we all know that Sony are pretty good at this because the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation Vita were absolutely incredible gaming handheld machines. So the competition's heating up. Nintendo have to really fight this generation if they still want to be as successful as they were with the Nintendo Switch 1. However, I think I've blown the situation up in my head. I thought that the Steam Deck, when it first announced, it was going to signal the end of Nintendo. The Steam Deck is very popular, but it's not as popular as I thought it was going to be. Listen to this. Read an article on the Metro. Now, I never read articles on the Metro, but they've got the information that I need. It says Steam Deck has barely outsold the N-Gage. If you remember the N-Gage, Nokia N-Gage. If for those that don't remember, it was an old school mobile phone. Nokia made it. It was a really weird design. It looked like a half moon kind of thing, but you could play video games on it. I remember they launched Tomb Raider on it, and a few other games. The layout was weird, but the whole weird thing was that, like, say if this is the phone, you have to hold the phone like this. So normally you hold phones like that to your ear, but because of the shape of this phone, you had to hold it like that. It was so weird, it never did well, didn't sell well, Nokia discontinued it. The Steam Deck's not even sold as much as that! And that was a failed experiment.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, now on N-Gage.
It says new data has revealed sales figures for PC gaming handhelds across the board, which even collectively haven't surpassed Sony's failed PS Vita. Wild! It says Valve has always been vague about the sales for the Steam Deck, claiming it had sold multiple millions back in November 2023. But now a new report has shed light on exactly how much of the market the Steam Deck and other PC gaming handhelds occupy. So according to market research firm IDC, which uses supply chains to estimate how many handheld gaming systems have shipped worldwide, it says PC gaming handhelds, namely the Steam Deck, Asus ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, and MSI Claw, I've never heard of MSI Claw, have collectively shipped just under 6 million units since 2022. 6 million units! Nintendo can shift that in a quarter in its 9th year in the market. Well, it can't shift that many, but it says, according to the estimates by The Verge, the Steam Deck makes up the lion's share of this, with upwards of 3.7 million units shipped in the 3 years since it launched in February 2022, although since these are only estimates, it may have crossed the 4 million mark by this point. It says, if the Steam Deck has shipped around 4 million units, this is lower than the sales for the PS Vita, which was considered a flop by Sony. The PS Vita was estimated to have sold 10 to 15 million units, which was a massive drop from the PlayStation Portable's 80 million units. The Steam Deck numbers are more comparable to the PlayStation Portal, which is PlayStation Portal! Wow! Which has sold roughly 2 million units so far, and the Nokia N-Gage, which reportedly sold 3 million. Nintendo Switch has sold 160 million units. We have nothing to worry about. I think even if Nintendo flops this generation, you're gonna have competition from Xbox and Sony, and that's a whole different ball game. But the competition is not as fierce as I thought it was gonna be. Nintendo could be alright this generation. So that's all we have time for today, and we hope you enjoyed the show. We're gonna be back with another episode of NNN tomorrow because the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 is here, and I cannot wait. Yes, we will be reacting to the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. We will be doing analysis videos all week. We'll be talking about what was announced. It's going to be a madness. It's going to be a madness. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Yes. I'm ready. My body is ready, Nintendo. See you tomorrow.